Retweeted it.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, August 23rd edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, on Monday and Tuesdays here at MMAOddsmaker.com, alongside my co-host on Monday and Tuesdays, Mr. Big Marcel. What's going on, man? How's everything?
All good, man. How are you? Good to be on the podcast again, and looking forward to talk some MMA with you.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting show today. So we got a lot to talk about, obviously. UFC recap. We'll do Bellator and PFL as well. I know you have some stuff to talk about with the whole situation last week with Mr. Paddy Pimblett. It's crazy, right? Like we had the podcast. It literally just happened right after the podcast last Tuesday. So It's almost been a week now. I think we've all had some time to kind of chill, digest everything. We'll talk about that, but I do want to recap the cards from the weekend before we get into that, Marcel. Unless someone is burning to hear about it. We don't have any people in the chat yet, so we'll wait a little bit because I know you have quite a bit to say. Let's start with UFC though. Let's just recap the card. So it was pretty tricky. Actually, let me get this comment very, very quickly from Big J. Hey, Big J, what's up? So he's asking about Jimmy Rivera. So the report is today that Jimmy Rivera and Damian Maia were both removed from the rankings. I'm assuming they just didn't get re-signed, and that's basically being cut. It's almost the same thing, but it's like a plighter version. It's like a plighter way of saying you've been cut, Marcel, by saying we didn't offer them a new contract. That's basically what it is. What have you heard?
I just heard that he's a free agent at this moment. I didn't hear he got cut, but I also don't think he got a new contract offer. I don't know exactly, man. I know that they put Raulian Paiva now in the rankings at number 15, so yeah. Yeah,
so, I mean, again, guys, when they say a guy's been removed from the rankings or removed if his contract's not been renewed, that's basically a polite version of saying they've been released or cut. It's just a politer version of saying it. So, I saw John Morgan's report that he can't go and say that until the UFC, I guess, confirms it, but it's basically what it's saying. And, listen, it's a shame, but Damian is an older guy, and they made it pretty clear that after the fight with Muhammad, they weren't going to offer him another fight, even though he asked for Nate Diaz. And with Jimmy Rivera, I mean, I personally think he's a good fighter, but, he's not the most exciting guy, probably. Although I do think he won fight of the night in his last fight against Munoz, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess maybe he wanted more money. I'm not sure. But overall, I mean, that's a guy that goes the distance in almost every fight. Is it a guy the UFC wants to pay a lot of money to? I don't know. But to me, Jimmy Rivera is a UFC caliber fighter. So if he truly was cut, it kind of sucks for him. But, it is what it is. But we'll talk about the fights now. Let's get into them. So, I mean, it was a pretty tricky card. I know, Marcel, you had a good night, man, for your pick. So congrats. I had an average night. I mean, to me, it was a tricky card. And it turned out to play out that way. Let's start with the main event. Marcel, Jared Cannonier defeats Kelvin Gastelum by unanimous decision. Very, very close fight. I mean, this one, to me, I think Kanyer getting the win is fine. But there were some people that think Gastelum won 3 rounds. What do you think, Marcel? How did you score this one?
Yeah, it was possible. I was 48-47. Could be either way. I think I leaned slightly towards Cannonier. I think the thing is with Cannonier, the rounds he won were more convincingly, you know what I mean? There was only one round that was kind of 50-50, and the other 2 rounds were also for Gastelum. Yeah, it was a close fight. I tweeted out 48-47 Cannonier, 48-47 Gastelum is both very possible. It's nothing wrong with that. I saw people how dare you giving Gastelum that fight? That's absolutely incorrect, and that kind of. That's it's possible. It's more possible that Cannonier won the fight, but Gastelum could have won the fight as well, I think. But I don't mind the decision. I think it was the correct decision.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, we both picked Gastelum, so it would have been nice if he got it. But at the end of the day, I think the judges actually scored this one right. I'm surprised Cannonier was able to win the decision in 5 rounds. I think that's a good sign for this guy. He looked in amazing shape. Gastelum obviously struggled with the weight cut, Marcel, which is not good. It wasn't a good sign to see that. It was a close fight, but ultimately, I think Cannonier's conditioning was the difference in this fight. He just seemed like a more well-conditioned athlete. Was able to go the full 5 and throw that high output. Even I know the 5th round, Gastelum came back a little bit, but still, I mean, to me, Cannonier was impressive. So he's 4-1 now, Marcel, at middleweight. And after the fight, he complained about his money. And I saw today he did an interview. He was complaining about his money. I mean, that's not really the way you endear yourself to the UFC brass. I understand why he's pissed. I get it. He's a top 3 guy in the world in his division, and he's complaining about his paycheck, which is not good. But, he's only fought once this year, guys. You got to keep that in mind. And, his show money's pretty high, too. So it's I understand his frustration, but I don't think he's the poster boy for bad fighter pay. You know what I mean, Marcel? There's other guys with way worse situations than Jared Cannonier. Having said that, the guy's damn impressive, man. I think the winner of Derek Brunson and Darren Till makes sense, even though they're a little bit lower in the rankings, because from what he said, he's not waiting for a title shot. He wants to fight. He wants to make money. So I think that fight makes sense. That fight's in 2 weeks. So what do you think, Marcel, the winner of that? What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. That's the fight to make, I mean, the obviously the title fight should be Adesanya against Whitaker. So this is the fight to make. I agree with you, man.
Yeah. And what do you think about him saying he's broke, man? And now, a lot of people saying, oh, this is just another example of bad fighter pay. Like, I made the comment that's a bad look on the UFC, and it definitely is. And I'm pretty sure they cut that part of the interview out where they posted the interview ourselves where he talks about it. But I'm just saying, like, it's not like this guy doesn't make, decent money. I mean, from what I've seen, like, his show money is decently high. So I don't know. And I just think there's other fighters that are making like $5,000. You know what I mean? Like on Contender Series guys, those are the guys that I think, and guys that they're making 10 and 10 on the prelims. I don't know. What do you think, man? Like, again, I understand the frustration, but I just think it's getting a little overblown with Jared as an example, because he's only fought once this year and once last year. Like,
I don't know what he makes.
Yeah, well, I heard I don't know if it's true, but I saw somewhere that said 75. That was his. Let me see where. Okay, so he made $100,000 the last time he had a disclosed paycheck in 2017 against Nick Rorick. He made $100,000 for that fight. So you'd imagine he's still making that much, if not more. You know what I mean? So I saw something 75 and 75. I don't know if it's true because they don't give the salaries in Nevada anymore. But for a guy making six figures a fight, guys, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
MMA pay should go up anyways, but it's not like I think he's already like pretty decently paid.
Compensated. I agree. I kind of agree with you, Marcel. I know what you're saying. Like, and I heard his interview today. He's like, it's not fair that my wife has to go to work while, she should be taking care of the kids while I'm at the gym training. I get it. I know what he's saying, but I feel like a lot of people in life feel that same way. You know what I mean? Like, I wish my fiance didn't have to work. She's going to have to go back to work next year. Like, that's just a fact of life. So I get what he's saying, guys, but I just think this is the wrong guy to kind of go off on the whole fighter pay is terrible thing. You know what I mean, Marcel? Because again, he's only fought once in the last 2 years, guys. Like, if you go for a guy like, I'm just trying to think someone, I don't know, like what like Jig is making, but he's headlining this card this weekend. Is he making 100,000? I doubt it. I mean, maybe he is. I don't think so though. So I think there's guys that are worse spots. Anyways, what about Gastelum though? I mean, he lost the fight. He lost 5-6 on Marcel. What do you think? What's next for him?
Uriah Hall rematch.
In the rematch. Yeah, I'd watch that fight. I remember betting on Kelvin in that fight. It was 8 years ago now. Wow. And I think it makes sense. I think it'd be a good fight. Both guys I think they're like 9 and 10 in the rankings, so that makes a lot of sense. The only other thing is, and I don't know what you guys think, but I think Kelvin, really needs to commit himself to a diet and to strict training and drop back to 170. Because I just don't think he could be a champion in this weight class. And I know he could still have a good career and still beat guys, but you've seen, look at his record. He's lost 5 of his last 6, Marcel, at middleweight. So to me, it's like, this is a guy that should be fighting at 170, Marcel. What do you think?
What do you mean he won't be a champion? I mean, did you saw the picture with him wearing the belt a few years ago?
Yeah, I remember that.
Being serious. Yeah, I guess so. But the thing is, if he's not really committed to go to welterweight, then it won't happen. And he almost missed weight. I know it was just 0.25, but almost missed weight for this one. So I don't think he really is committed to go back to welterweight. And I think as the older you get, the tougher it is to go back and drop even more weight. I mean, we are not everybody Frankie Edgar, or Jose Aldo or Edson Barboza, but that's just tougher for many fighters, And I think for Gastelum, Gastelum is already. I think Gosselin would be a pretty big guy if he doesn't train every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's already tough on him to go to make middleweight, and if he has to go back to welterweight, it would be very tough for him. I think.
I know what you mean, and I get it, and I agree. But I just look at the success he had at welterweight. He was 6-2 as a welterweight, plus the Hall fight, which was at middleweight, but still. And then since moving to middleweight full time, he's 4-6-1, no contest. Really, that's a win over Vitor, so it's 5-6. Let's be fair there. But that's a losing record, Whereas he had a winning record at welterweight with 2 really close losses to Woodley and to Magny. I thought he beat Magny. I think he should have won that fight, but the Woodley fight probably lost that one. No shame in that though. To me, that's the move he has to make if he really wants to be a champion. He's only 29, man. He's still young. You know what I mean? That's one of the reasons I picked him against Kanyer, because I'm like, he's still make the improvements. But when he showed up a quarter pound heavy, Marcel, I got to be honest, that really worried me. I was like, man, That's what I could say. And you see Cannonier, just incredible shape. A guy who used to fight heavyweight, so it's pretty amazing what he's done. Anyways, any more thoughts on this fight before we move on to the other ones?
No, that's it pretty much, man.
All right, so let's talk about this fight. Mark Madsen, Clay Guida, guys. And I know that, Jose, you're asking about this fight in the comments, and I definitely want to talk about this fight. It was an interesting fight. It was a very close fight. Very, very close. You know what's funny, guys? The judges had completely different scorecards than what I had and what Marcel had, because I asked Marcel after the fight how he scored it. So,
yeah.
Marcel, where's your picture? Where's your video gone? You still there?
What the hell?
You still there? I can't see you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's weird.
I was like, what happened? Okay. He's picking his nose, guys. That's what happened. You don't want to see him. All right, so the scorecards were kind of weird, Marcel. Like 29-28 is fine, I think, for either guy. 30-27, Madsen's a little weird. And then the rounds were also strange. I thought he won 1 and 3, but none of the judges had that. What did you? I think you had the same scorecards as me, right? Mark Madsen 1 and 3, Guida 2. Yeah, very weird, right? How did the judges? I don't really know how they came to this decision. Like, I think the right guy won the fight, but I don't think the way they got there was correct. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's actually concerning. That means pretty much that it could be completely different. You know what I mean? So I think it was 1 and 3 for Madsen, 2 for Guida. We both had the same, like you said. So yeah, maybe we should start judging. You know what I mean? Just kidding. I mean, but I think we had it the right way. So
I mean, I think we'd both be really good judges, but I can't be a judge and a journalist. You can't. It's not possible.
I was just kidding.
I know. I'm just saying you have to pick one of the two, and you can't pick both. I'd rather be a journalist, but a judge definitely, it's an important job in the sport. And I feel like, I think we need better judges. But yeah, I'm glad the right guy won. Now this next fight, Jose was asking about this one as well. Also, Jamie had the same scorecard. That's what I had, Jamie. But the judges they all had different scorecards, which is really, like you said, Marcel. I'm glad they got the right winner. I think they did get the right winner, but the way they got there is very weird. All right, let's talk about this fight. Parker Porter defeats Chase Sherman. I think you picked Porter, so good pick there. And the output again, man, just this guy's cardio. You look at the guy, Marcel, and it doesn't look like he's this well-conditioned athlete, but this guy can go 50 minutes, no problem at the UFC level. Like, it's unbelievable, to be honest with you. I'm not saying beating Chase Sherman and Josh Friesen are like amazing wins, but they're decent wins, and this guy to me is a little bit, just underrated, I guess. Like, I remember him from way back in the day because I remember seeing on John Jones's record. That's pretty much where I saw, man, Gabriel Gonzaga too. I was like, man, this guy sucks, but he really doesn't. He's actually a good fighter, and he's really shut me up, Marcel. A lot of people have picked against him. I picked against him all 3 fights, and I'm 1 and 2 on him now. So what do you think, man? I know you like this guy. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I think he did what he had to do. I don't think it was a beautiful fight or whatever. I think it was very untechnical, but he had just a higher output. He had Sherman on his toes the whole damn time, had him backing up, and Sherman didn't do anything back. So it was like pretty much a 30-27 clean sweep all 3 rounds for Parker Porter, and he did that very well. How he did it. I had to laugh earlier today. I did a Dutch podcast, and the host had a short interview with Henry Hooft because Sherman is training right now at Sanford, right? And Hooft wasn't. I don't think he was in the corner, or he was. I can't recall. And Sherman pretty much said that he was ashamed for how he looked in the cage. That he was looking very bad. He didn't good look. And the host said it was a complete shit fight. I told him as well, it was a shit fight. And Sherman was like, yeah, you're right. It was an awful fight. I have to do better. And he's like, Hoof is like, I'm just saying the way it is. I say if you're making a good fight, you're a good fight. If you have a shit fight, I'm telling you, it's a shit fight, and it was a shit fight. He said so. It was pretty clear on that, and I think Sherman was pretty clear on what he thought about the fight. Wasn't the way he expected it. I think Sherman has knockout power, but he never could let it go for some reason for 3 rounds. He was just he just looked as if he didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? So it was a really weird fight from Sherman, but a good one for Porter. He looked good. Yeah, all 3 rounds. I don't know what idiot judge gave 29-28, but
I was wondering that. I actually saw that. I was like, what round? They gave him the first round, but I don't know. I'm looking at Chase's record, 3-7 in the UFC over 2 stints. Not very good, and I think he'll get cut. What do you think? Think he gets cut?
Very likely, man. I think his best days were in the bare knuckle, so maybe he goes back.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'll say. He's the only guy that went to bare knuckle to come back to the UFC. So I'll give him some credit for that. It's not an easy thing to do, but he beat Ike Villanueva. I think he tested positive for some sort of PED, and then he has not looked the same since then. Just hasn't looked the same. So, what do you think for Porter though? What do you think's next for this guy, man? I like this guy. To me, he's a decent underrated fighter. What do you think?
Yeah, he is, man. I think not top 15, maybe a little bit too soon, but maybe just be behind top 15 would be a good test, or maybe bottom top 15. It's like top 15, top 20 in that range. That would be good, I think.
Let me see who's out there. Let me see. The one guy I was thinking about was that guy Carlos Felipe, but now he's fighting Arlovsky. Maybe the winner of that fight.
I think about Rodrigo Nascimento.
Nascimento's a Yogi Bear, that guy.
Yeah.
He's fun. Yeah, there's a lot of guys. Jared Vandera's another guy. He's coming off a win. He's fighting Romanov, actually. That fight's official? Is that official? Romanov and Vandera?
Is it?
I don't know. I see it on Wikipedia, but I don't remember. Marcel? You actually wrote the article. That's so funny.
I can't remember anymore.
There's so many fights, guys. It's okay. It says Marcel wrote the article. Let me get these comments, guys. Oh, sorry. This is what Madsen. Ryan asked about the last fight. Why did he wrestle? Yeah, he did, like you said, he engaged the clinch just to throw knees, basically. It's weird, and everyone's saying, oh, Guida's a great wrestler. He is, but he's been taken down many times in the UFC. I don't think Madsen was committed to it. I think he wanted to show his striking a little bit, too. He was forced to a little bit, and I thought he looked okay in the striking. His jab looked really nice in that third. That's what won him the fight. So, for Guida, just moved around a lot, and that could confuse people. You know what I mean, Marcel? If you're a bad judge who doesn't, really understand the sport, I can see why you would think Guida's winning that fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you really know the sport, you're watching it closely. Obviously, you saw Madsen laying the bigger strikes. What are you going to say before I get the other comments? What are you going to
say? Do you think Madsen was happy after the fight when he got this name?
I would definitely say he's happy. What this guy's been through, guys, is insane. He had COVID. He missed over a year. I think he broke his jaw in his last fight against Hubbard. And his wife has MS, which is just absolutely terrible. Yeah, you didn't know that, eh? Yeah. He revealed that last week. That's a terrible disease, obviously. So what this guy did was a good. I think it was good for him to get the win. It was good for himself, for his family, and I'm excited to see him next. And Jose's asking about Ferguson. I mean, would I watch that fight? Sure, but I feel like Tony, they're going to give him someone that he can beat. I would think. I don't think he can beat Madsen. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure, Marcel. What do you think? I would assume he gets a top 15 guy, but
he wanted Gillespie. I think if you don't give him Gillespie and you want to give him another ground guy, maybe Davi Ramos, but Ramos
that'd be fun for losing. He's not ranked. So yeah, exactly. All right, let me get these other comments. Jamie had Porter by decision. I think that's what Marcel had too. Jose said interesting. Porter's 2-1. UFC. Well, Tafa's 1-3. I think Tafa should be 2-2 or. Right, he definitely beat Carlos Felipe, right? That was a bad decision.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
the judge gave Sherman the first round where he actually got taken down. Yeah, the one judge did, which is it's not even just the takedown. He got struck too. That's the thing, and he got taken down and controlled. So Porter and Nascimento, yeah, that's a good fight. All right, now we got to talk about this fight because I mean this fight was amazing, and the finish was amazing. I shouldn't say the fight was amazing. It was not the best fight ever, but the finish was filthy. Said Yakub Kakramanov, Marcel pulling off the submission in the third round over Trevin Jones, a technical submission. Unbelievable performance. Unbelievable UFC debut by this guy coming in on short notice, fighting, I think, a good fighter in Trevin Jones. Basically, completely dominated Trevin Jones to stand up, forced Trevin Jones to wrestle, and stuffed a lot of the takedowns. I mean, the guy looked phenomenal. I wonder how good this guy's going to look with the full camp when he makes weight. It's a shame he missed weight because it cost him $50,000 bonus. It really did. He would have got the bonus for sure. I thought he looked amazing, Marcel. This was a great fight. It was a very close fight, but in the end, he pulled it off, man, with 20 seconds left. Unbelievable, Marcel. Give me your thoughts on Kakramanov.
Yeah, very good, man. What can you say? It's like a less than 7 days notice fight. Got in, looked great against a guy who had some very high ceiling and very much hype in the UFC right now because people were saying nobody wants to fight this dude. And he had bad luck. Listen, Trevin Jones had bad luck with opponents falling out continually. He got Kakramanov, and dude, Kakramanov looked good. And like you said, I'm really looking forward to how he's looking in this next fight. He was the Cage Fury champion. So, I think he has a lot of upside in the UFC at this moment, man.
Yeah. Jamie's saying Madsen and Moises. Yeah, Moises just fell the rankings. That would be a good fight, too. I think he gets a top 15 guy, but I'm not 100% sure. I think they wanted to see if he could beat Guido, who's kind of like a gatekeeper to the top 15. So I think he will, but it's all timing, right? It depends on timing. And does Gillespie even want to take a fight against an unranked guy when he really should be fighting a guy, highly ranked? I don't know. But I think on paper it'd be a good fight. But yeah, Cappelozza, Marcel, I mean, unbelievable. What's next for him? What do you think? Who'd you match him up with at 135?
Yeah, it's difficult, man.
Let me look at the rank.
You know, if Trevin Jones would, how do you say that? If Trevin Jones would have won this fight, I'd probably match him up with somebody around the top 15, top 20, somewhere there. So you have to think a bit the same for Cappelozza, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'd go with maybe a Casey Kenny. Would that make sense?
Maybe. You know, here's the thing. I'm looking at the rank. I'm just looking at the roster right now. This division's so stacked. There's so many good fighters that aren't ranked that have more than one win in the UFC. So even though this was an amazing win, incredible way he finished it, and a good win over a quality fighter, you know, there's guys like Adrian Yanez who aren't ranked. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, I don't think this gets him a ranked opponent. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, but there's a lot of other guys that are waiting. Like Miles Johns is a guy who's waiting for a ranked opponent. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of guys. Actually, that would be a good fight, Marcel. Miles Johns versus Cappelozza. Yeah. That'd be a fun one too. That'd be a very fun fight. But I don't know if he'll take that fight. You know,
Miles, you got LFA champion against CFFC champion, right?
Even you know, Phillips or Paiva be good. All these fights would be fun, honestly. But you know, if you're a ranked guy, do you want to fight this guy? Probably not. This guy's super dangerous. But yeah, I'd watch Kenny, and I don't think Kenny's ranked. I think he's out. Right? Is he ranked though?
Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's ranked anymore.
Yeah, I think he dropped out after the losses, and he's competitive losses, split decision. So that'd be a good fight. But yeah, I mean, Cappelozza is very good.
Carlos Phillips, maybe.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. Or even Paiva, like he is ranked now at 15. So yeah, you guys know what I'm saying. Like this division is just ridiculous stacked. There's so many. Like, a guy like Montel Jackson can't get it ranked. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like it's really stacked. What's his name? Jack Shore just got the UFC newcomer too, the flyweight champ from LFA. That would have been a good fight too, but you know he's taking the flyweight guy instead. All right, this fight was, I don't know. I mean, Vince Pichel, Austin Hubbard pretty much played like basically we thought it would go to decision. I thought Hubbard would be a little more competitive, but you know, Pichel, I thought it should be 29-20. I don't agree with 30-27, but Pichel won the fight for sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I said the same. How can you score at 30-27 and 29-28?
Yeah.
And Pichel won. And actually, yeah, it played out how I thought it would be. Yeah. You know, Pichel, he's how do you say that? He's super
underrated.
Yeah, that's not the word I want to use.
Well-rounded.
Yeah, super solid. He's just well-rounded. He's also underrated. He's 7-2 in the UFC. You know, only losses against Khabibov and against who was the other? Was a close fight, I think, or was
Gillespie choked him out. And that's the guy.
Gillespie, yeah, it wasn't a close fight.
And he called him out after. I don't think he'll get that fight. I don't think he'll get the rematch.
No, me neither, man.
I think he should have called someone else out. I don't blame him for calling him out, but I think he should have called someone else out. You know what I mean? Pichel, yeah, that's exactly what I had. I really thought that Hubbard. I thought Hubbard for sure won the first round. I was surprised all three of them had Pichel, but either way, the right guy won. Again, same with the Madsen fight. The right guy won. The way we got there is a little weird. Pantoja and Ray Vale. Let's talk about this one because an amazing fight for as long as it lasted, and Pantoja pulls off the submission. Now, we got to talk about the flyweight title because obviously Brandon Moreno was there. It looks like they verbally agreed to the fight, but of course Figueiredo still wants it, and of course Askarov still wants the fight. Now, here's the thing: the UFC I think has a big problem right now because Figueiredo's missed weight at flyweight before, and so has Askarov. And the problem with them being a challenger and potentially missing weight is the belt wouldn't be on the line. That's the difference, guys, because if it's the champion that misses weight, the challenger makes weight, the belt's still on the line for the challenger. That's the dilemma the UFC's facing, and I think they're just worried that Askarov or Figueiredo can't make weight. So what I would do, this is my thought, and I want to hear yours in a second, I would do Askarov and Figueiredo on the same card as Moreno and Pantoja later this year, and I would give Pantoja the title shot because there's a few reasons. Number one, I talked about this on Twitter yesterday if you guys saw my tweet. Number one, he has 2 wins over Moreno. Number 2, he makes weight. Number 3, he's super good. He's just a super solid fighter who's been fighting in MMA since 2007. He's been fighting a long time, Marcel. I respect the guy who's been in the game that long. I believe he deserves a title shot based on him making weight and winning his fight. So I know you disagree because I think you like Askarov more, but Marcel, I don't think you can give a guy who missed weight a title shot. What do you think?
It's a difficult one, man. I mean, what's more important to you, missing weight or winning?
Right?
Against,
and he beat Askarov. Askarov beat Pantoja last year. I know. I agree.
You know that's the dilemma. You know,
yeah, it is.
So
it is.
The thing is, what's going to bother me a lot here is that I don't mind either Pantoja or Askarov getting a title shot. Just let this be clear. If Pantoja gets it, nobody would want to hear of will hear anything from me that Askarov doesn't get it. Don't get me wrong. But the thing is, I think if they make this matchup and Cody Garbrandt wins against Kayla France in December, they're gonna do the winner of that fight against Cody Garbrandt. And that fucking sucks. I don't need to see that. You know what I mean? So I would say if they do what you say, if they do Brandon Moreno against Alexandre Pantoja, and they do on the same card Davison Figueiredo against Askarov isn't coming back until late this year, by the way. So if they do that fight, the winner of that fight should be guaranteed a title shot against either Moreno or Pantoja. If they do that, then I would be cool with it. But if they're going to do those two fights and then they gave Cody the first choice to, no, I'm not cool with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So
I want to get this comment because this guy's hilarious. Let me read this comment here, Marcel. This is so funny. Biker Boy. I mean, there's some swearing here, but basically he says that he had a parlay on Madsen and Jared. 230 to Cannonier, obviously 230 to win 600. He says he got scared after the second round, cashed out. Yeah, you know what, man? I'm sure it's high. He said he was high as fuck. That's so funny. Listen, that's happened to all of us, man. We've got a little bit nervous and we tried to hedge out. I get it, but that's why I usually just wait to see what happens because you never know, right? But that's funny though. I thought that was really funny what you said, man. Anyways, Marcel, let's go to the other fights quickly on this card. Austin Lingo defeats Luis Saldana. Yeah, I mean, this was a close fight, very hard fight to call. I think you picked Lingo, if I'm not mistaken, and a good pick here. And yeah, I mean, it was a close fight. That third round, that body shot that dropped him really was the difference, right? That won in the fight.
Yeah, I was like, listen, I'm no position to say what a fighter should do, but I was like, dude, why are you gonna go down with him and trying to wrestle him? Let him stand up, But I think Lingo was very tired already as well, so it was kind of a thing like if I go to the ground and he can't stand up, I have this round in the back. So it's but yeah, good win for Lingo. Man.
Yeah, no, I agree. Saldana, I think he'll get another fight too. I think he broke his foot too. I saw some picture on his Instagram and he think he broke his foot. Brian Keller defeats Domingo Plarte. You know what? He did what he had to do, but this was not a good fight. Like this was probably the worst fight in the card, I would say. What do you think, Marcel? I mean, it was a really dull fight. What do you think?
Yeah, it was very one-sided in my opinion, and it was actually pretty much what I expected, and what you did as well.
I thought he might finish the fight. To be honest with you, I'm surprised Plarte was able to survive, but. He did. I'm looking at his record now. 0-2 and 1 no contest. I think he's going to get cut. You think he gets cut?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now let's talk about this fight because this is the best call I made all night on a card where I kind of struggled. But Jose's asking if she's always fought at bantamweight. I think she could fight at strawweight. So she wants to fight at flyweight. She said this after apparently to AG fight. I saw the interview. So she wants to move down to 125, which I think she should because she could definitely make that weight class. I think she could make 115 too, just like Jessica Andrade did. I think she could, but. She wants to keep that power and the strength. So, if she cuts a lot of weight, she might just gas herself out after a round. You know what I mean? Like at 135, obviously, tons of cardio. Marcel, I called this fight perfectly. Basically, she did what I thought she'd do: pin Bea Malecki against the fence and just go to work on her. And Bea had nothing for her this fight at all. And I told you, Marcel, one of these fighters was training for this fight. The other one was busy taking pictures for her Instagram and for her OnlyFans. And the one fighter who was training for this fight as hard as she could ended up winning by knockout and won $50,000 bonus. I was very impressed by Josiane Nunes, but I don't think she could be competitive against like good fighters in this weight class. Like if she fights someone like Macy Chiasson, she'll lose that fight. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, what do you think? I think 125 is or 115 maybe, but I think 125 for sure is the right move for this girl. What do you think?
Yeah, why not? I think 125 doesn't have a huge talent pool, to be really honest. And it's easier to, no disrespect to Shevchenko, but it's easier to get a champion at 125 than at 115. I think 115 has a much more difficult roster. Nunes looked great. I said to you as well, man. I'm not a huge Malecki fan, but I thought that the height would be a big difference in this fight. But Nunes could get inside by Malecki, and Malecki let her punch. And great performance by Nunes, man. Good debut. And I'm looking forward to how she's going to do at 125. I think she can be a force there for sure. Yeah. If she can element her game, she can.
Yeah, Jamie, I know what you're saying. I agree. I don't think beating Bea is like telling us this girl's a contender, but I think it does show that, again, what I saw in the tape was the power in the hands. She's got really fast hands, and we saw that in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
Does she beat other girls with better striking defense that aren't just basically a punching bag? I don't know. But that's what Bea was in this fight. I'm being a little harsh on her, but, I just think that, this is a girl that could be a good fighter, and I just don't know if she's putting the work in. I don't know, Marcel. It just doesn't seem like she's fully committed to it. But I could be. Maybe that's just me, being wrong. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I look at two fighters, and I see one in Nunes who – really wanted this fight really badly and ended up getting the win. All right, William Knight defeats Fabio Sherman. Man, I got to be honest. I don't know I didn't know what happened. I thought there was a headbutt or something. Like, I had no idea what happened. The guy just fell down, and then you saw the replay. I don't think I've seen a weaker punch knock someone out in the UFC before. This is incredible that he knocked him out. It was basically like his wrist. Unreal, Marcel. And Fabio was looking pretty good, Marcel. I'm like, oh, shit, he's going to knock out William. And then, bang, that left hook. What do you think of that punch? Because, I thought, again, at first I thought it was a headbutt, and then they showed the replay, obviously, a punch. What do you think?
I mean, maybe it kind of shows that Knight has a lot of power. You know what I mean?
True.
If you can knock out with that way, and was also walking back, I think. So it was a good win for Knight. But I agree with you. Sherman looked good in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He started very well, and I think Knight just has some real solid power, but I'm really concerned with Knight, man, in this division. I think he would do so much better at 185, man. He's fighting like huge guys in 205.
I agree completely. DC was commentating, just like talking about how big and strong his legs are and stuff, and it's like, okay, but did you see his last fight against Dan Jung where he looked like a midget in that fight? Like, he wasn't even Dan Jung is a big heavyweight, obviously 6'4", but William Knight he's just, to me, at 5'10", Marcel, he's a guy that really should drop to 185. I don't know how he's going to do it because he's going to have to change his whole body. Like, he's obviously a really muscular dude, but Marcel, I just don't think he could become a champion at this weight class. I really don't. I think the guy's a good fighter, guys, but I just see a guy that when he steps up in competition, I think he's going to struggle, Marcel, against the bigger guys like Dan Jung. All right, Ignacio Bahamondes, that's my boy. I think you picked him, Marcel. I want to say you picked him too. I definitely didn't.
We both picked him.
This was my guy of the week. I loved him here as an underdog. Love this kid. Knocks out Roosevelt. So I had the tweet. I wrote the tweet saying, what a great performance. Amazing striking. Amazing takedown defense. Stuffed 12 takedowns in the fight. And then right as I tweeted that out, he's landed a spinning wheel kick, which, what's funny, guys? I'm like, holy fuck, he landed a spinning wheel kick. All the other websites, no one knew what the move was. People need to watch more MMA because a lot of websites didn't know what it was. They didn't know what to call it. Come on, guys. We've seen this move before in the UFC. You know what I mean, Marcel?
I'm guilty as well. I said spinning back kick while I knew
come
it was
on.
a
It's a spinning wheel kick.
I know it was a spinning wheel kick. I know.
Same one Barboza landed on Terry Adam. Same one that JDS landed on Mark Hunt. Unbelievable.
The thing is,
I'm so high in this guy. Tell me your thoughts.
The thing is, sometimes when you want to tweet quickly,
of course,
you can't find, and then you say it's just back kick. I know.
I know what you're saying. I get that. What do you think of this guy, man? He's only 23, Marcel.
He looked very good, but he looked as good as we expected. We both said it on the podcast that he is a good fighter, and he was going to win. Of course, I didn't expect a spinning wheel kick knockout in the third round, but of course not. But he looked good. A complete fight was good. I had a 30-27 for him on the scorecards. So, I mean, perfect. And man, poor Roe Roberts, man. He's probably out of the UFC with this one.
Yo, that's the first time he's been knocked out in his career, which is insane. But he did get dropped against Kevin Kroon, which was something that really worried me against a guy like Ignacio, his power. And, wow, he got dropped again in this one. All right, first fight of the night. The last one we'll talk about in this card. Ramiz Brahimaj defeats Sasha Platnikov. Technical submission. Yeah, I was wrong with this one. I knew that Ramiz could win the fight by submission. I thought Sasha would definitely be able to kind of stay on the feet more, but he couldn't. He got taken down right away and choked out cold. Great win for Ramiz. I think that's it for Sasha in the UFC too, Marcel. He can't defend a rear naked choke. What are you gonna
say? He got fucking purple for a minute, man, and then it was just actually horrible to see. And he held on long, and then at a certain moment it was over. And Ramiz immediately said he's out.
Yeah.
And then he was out. By the way, I want to ask you, man, did you see on the broadcast and also on the UFC lineup bout order, they didn't show Palatnikov's flag, his Hong Kong flag. Do you know what?
I saw that. Yeah, I did see that. I don't know why exactly. I can't remember, but I did notice that it was just like a blank thing. But I know there's a lot of I guess tension in that part of the world. I don't know the politics about it, but yeah. You think that's it for? You think he gets cut or no? You think that's it?
Ooh, difficult, man. He fought 3 times. In the first fight, he didn't look good until Kosi was gassing and he took over. Second fight, Impact defeated him. I think it would be I think it's hard to get him another fight there. It depends if he gets a 3 or 4 fight contract, So
yeah, they usually sign the 4-fight deal, right, for their first one. So they might give him one more, but it would be someone that's also on the verge of being released.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, clearly the guy's a good striker, but the takedown defense and the submission defense is just not there with him. It's unfortunate. Any other thoughts on this card, man? Anything else?
I really enjoyed the card, man. It was the main card started at 4 a.m. I started watching at 1 a.m. with the prelims, so I watched it all at once. Was in bed 7:30 a.m. So I enjoyed it, and I didn't fall asleep during the card, so it was a good card.
I enjoyed it too. The only I think it was a good card. The only thing I'll say is I wish it started a little bit earlier, like even an hour earlier would have been nice, but it is what it is. The other thing I'll say is for the bonuses, they gave out 4 bonuses. So Burmese didn't get a bonus. He was the only guy who got a finish, and Kakramanov too, but he obviously missed weight. They could have easily given out one more bonus. You know what I mean? Like they should have. They should have given to the 5th guy. I really don't like how they're being cheap with the bonuses. Give out some more bonuses. You know what's crazy?
Who didn't get a bonus?
Huh?
What? Who didn't get a bonus?
Brahimaj didn't get one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought he should have got one too. But I mean, Pantoja, Bahamondes, Knight, and Nunes, they all deserved it. I think if anything, maybe give it to Brahimaj over Knight. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, Knight deserved it too. Anyways, I think that's it for this card. I mean, it was a great card.
I wanted to say something.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, the other thing I'll say was so obviously we're gonna talk about tomorrow, Jigga and Barboza, but I was watching Barboza's first fight back in the UFC today against Mike Lulo at UFC 123. That was the first card I ever went to, Marcel, for a UFC or MMA event. That was before it was legal in Ontario where I live. Great card, great event, some memorable fights. But it's crazy because I look at that card, and BJ Penn beat Matt Hughes that night, which was nuts. I look at that card. That card was in November 2010, guys. I was a lot younger back. I was like 21 years old. I want to say I was a kid back then. The bonuses were 80,000 that night, but they're only 50,000 today. That's fucking criminal, man. That is criminal. Like that was 11 years ago, and the bonuses were more. I just really wanted to say that. Like, I honestly, I'm kind of over the whole stumping for fighter pay thing because honestly, it's on the fighters. They need to smarten up about themselves and get a union going. It's not up to the journalists to do it. You know what I mean, Marcel? But when I see this, and that really stands out to me as a huge problem in the sport where 11 years ago, the bonuses were higher than now. That's messed up. That doesn't make any sense, guys. My opinion. Glenn, what's up, man? He says they're bound to China with the Hong Kong flag thing. Yeah, that's what Jamie's saying too. The cards are too late. I think it should have started like an hour or two earlier, but whatever. All right, let's talk about Bellator, Marcel. We'll do Bellator 265 really fast because I got to be honest, guys. I only saw like a few fights on the main card. I wasn't able to watch the prelims. I know a lot of people were upset that Taylor Johnson lost his fight against Fabio Aguilar. And there was another split decision. Logan Storley barely won against Dante Shiro. He was like a minus 4,000 favorite, Marcel. Barely won the fight. But the only fight I really wanted to mention was Cheick Kongo against Kharitonov, obviously getting the submission, and then Jornel Lugo submitting Keith Lee as well. Any thoughts on these fights at all?
Yeah, man, I think a good win for Cheick Kongo. I think he looked very well in the fight as well. So
I picked him, man. I liked him as an underdog last week, guys. I thought he had a good chance to win. Kharitonov, Marcel, ever since that fight with Javi Ayala, where I tweeted out, oh, man, there's no way Javi Ayala wins this fight. 10 seconds later, he got brutally Kharitonov got starched. I was like, oh, that's why I don't tweet my predictions right before the fight anymore. But yeah, I mean, I just do that. Yeah, I know I don't do that anymore. I just think he's a solid fighter, but to me, Kongo's underrated, Marcel. He honestly is an underrated guy. You look at his record; it's very good. It's very good, and he's fought really good competition. Only lost to pretty good top guys too. So he's an underrated guy. You know what's crazy, Marcel? He's been in Bellator as long as he was in the UFC for. Isn't that nuts? Like,
yeah, it is.
It's crazy, right?
Dude fucking fought some Dutch pioneers in MMA over here in the Netherlands.
Isn't that amazing?
In the 2000s.
He started fighting in rings Holland in 2001.
Yeah, exactly.
He fought, I don't know if you know these guys. Let's see, Dave Vanderveen, Hans Nijum, Jupe Castile.
Yeah.
Obviously, he fought Gilbert Ivel. Gilbert Ivel's one of my least favorite fighters of all time. He's a punk.
Why? You know that I do a podcast with him every Monday.
Are you serious? No way. Yeah. Okay, well, don't tell him I said that, but come on, bro. I mean, you haven't seen that fight with was it Don Fry where he spoke him in the eyes? You never seen that fight? Come on. And also the part he's kind of nuts, man. No offense. He also beat up the referee in one of the that's a
whole story behind it.
Someone's going to tell him I said that.
That's a whole story behind it. I'll tell you that after the show.
Okay, sounds good.
I mean, Gilbert is like crazy in the ring, but he's if you meet him, like
I bet he's a decent guy. I know
really nice
I get it, but the Don Fry fight, man, I never liked him after. I got to be honest, dude. Like, you remember that fight, Marcel? I've never seen a guy stick their eyes in someone or fingers in someone's eyes like that. That was bad. He got disqualified for it. And there was the other fight where he knocked the referee out. You remember
I will tell you about that one. What happened there? Exactly.
Sounds good. All right. PFL 8. We'll talk about this really fast as well. Kayla Harrison. I mean, next, I guess. Like, I mean, what's to say about this? Like, these fights are a joke. Like, I understand they're having a hard time finding people for the fight. And I think Taylor Guardado, who beat Marina Moraes by split decision, is a good fighter. I think she could beat a lot of fighters, I think, at lightweight or I guess or featherweight even. But Harrison's going to obviously destroy her, Marcel. I mean, I don't really think – it's not very intriguing to me. Like, I just want to see her fight some better competition. Now, she's getting paid $1 million probably again, guys. Now she's like, I want to get paid more in the UFC. No, the UFC is not going to pay her more than $1 million. Come on. They're not going to pay her – she's actually delusional if she thinks that. She's not going to get paid anywhere close to that. What are you going to say?
Also, they put the heavyweights and the women's lightweights from the tournament on one card. It's like the two most uninteresting divisions in the PFL, man. Let's be honest. Those other four are pretty cool to watch, pretty good. But the women's, we all know from the beginning that 99% sure Kayla Harrison going to win a third title at PFL. And in the heavyweight, I'm just not. Now we get Ante Delija against Bruno Cappelozza.
Let's talk about them. So Bruno Cappelozza, that was a pick I liked. I really like this guy. I like him a lot. I love the fact that they showed his family sitting in Brazil. You know what I mean? Because he clearly doesn't. He's not a guy that comes from a lot of money. And I think this. Kayla's talking about how $1 million isn't life changing. It's a life changing for me. It'd be life changing for Bruno. It'd be life changing for you or anyone listening to this podcast. I almost got offended when she said that, Marcel. I got to be honest with you, like, because a lot of fighters are like dying to make $10,000 or $5,000 even. She's like, "Oh, $1 million isn't enough." Like, come on, that is a terrible comment to make. I think Bruno's an awesome fighter. The fight with Yuri, I'm sure you saw it.
Yeah,
he rocked Yuri in that fight with a jab and hurt him, but he went and got crazy. And Frank Trey was commentating the fight. He's like, "Oh no, don't do it!" And he gets crazy and gets KO'd with a counter punch. But since then, 3 straight wins. He also beat Ante Delija by knockout. What are you going to say?
You know what's funny to me when they showed Cappelozza's family? It's like every time they showed the people's family, they're going like, yeah. And when they show Cappelozza's family, they were just staring at the screen. So I was like, they have some. Who do you say that? There's some lag in their stream, or in their broadcast, so they don't see themselves yet.
That's funny. I knew it's funny. What also is funny was when they were reading the decision for Moraes and Guardado, they showed Guardado's fiance. He's like this. He's like shaking his head thinking she lost. I thought that was so funny. And he looked at the camera and he realized the camera's on him. He's like, oh, shit. I thought that was really funny.
But also, what the hell takes so long with these decisions, man? I'm watching that at 5:30 a.m. Yeah, what the hell?
Terrible. Now, Ante Delija is the other guy that won, obviously beat Goltsov in an upset, Marcel. That's an upset. So these guys fought Cappelozza and Delija in May, and Cappelozza won by knockout, but Delija was a big favorite in that fight, a massive favorite. And since then, he's won by first round knockout and then a decision. I don't know. I feel like Delija might be the favorite just from a betting point of view, but I don't know, man. I mean, it's hard to pick for me to pick him after Cappelozza already knocked him out like 3 fights ago. So I don't know what you're thinking about this one. This is a tough fight to call, but it should be a fun one. What are you thinking, though?
I agree with you, man. I think Delija was indeed the big favorite there. I remember Delija almost signed with the UFC to fight Cyril Gane, remember? Yep. But he was still in PFL contract. Maybe now he's happy that he's
for the $1 million, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I think it will be a fun fight. We saw the first fight, the second fight. Both guys know what they have to show, what they can bring. So they will both be prepared, man. And Ante Delija will be, will be warned from the first fight,
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's get through the prelims really quick, and then I'm going to get to the comments about Patty and stuff. Marcel will talk about that. Henry Ferrer defeats Stuart Austin. Mohamed Davis defeats Carl Suman Intafa. Marina Natina defeats Claudio Zamora. Amanda Lev defeats Miranda Barber. And Christian Lawson defeats Jonas Flock. I got to be honest, I didn't catch the prelims except for the Ferreira knockout. They don't show them here in Canada. Like I have to find a stream. To me, it's like I don't know if it's really worth me finding a stream for those fights. Now, if the tournament fights differently, but the main card's on TSN, so I watched it, and it was a pretty good card. I got to be honest with you, like I enjoy watching PFL a little bit more than Bellator these days. Like that's my opinion.
Same.
My fiance is so funny. I go, hey babe, you want to watch Bellator? She's like, I'm not watching Bellator. She's tired of Bellator. She doesn't like the mismatches, but she likes PFL. She thinks it's pretty fun to watch. So I think PFL is a great product, and I'm looking forward to the finals in. Oh, that's actually one more card this week, actually, and then the finals are in October, so it should be good.
Mm-hmm.
Get this comment from John. Hey, John. He says there'll be some fun fights for Delija and Cappelozza in the UFC. There sure would be, man. I'm sure both guys are obviously happy they're in PFL because the winner of this fight's going to win $1 million. You can't make that in the UFC over, 3 fights or whatever it is. But, Delija was supposed to be there, and Cappelozza, I think, could be there as well. I think he was a guy that's a great signing by PFL. It's crazy because he missed like 2 or 3 years of action after he got knocked out by, what's it called? Yuri in Ryzen. So I don't know what it was, a contract thing or something or what, but he's back now. He's looked good. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Yeah, Jamie, this wasn't the greatest. I agree. This card was not the greatest PFL card, but in general, I think PFL puts on a better product. That's my honest opinion. I think of the big three.
I'm looking forward to this week's, man. They got Brandon Loughnane against Movlid Kabulaev.
Yeah, what a fight.
Amazing.
We'll talk about that tomorrow a little bit. All right, man. I wanted you to talk about this, so I'm going to give you your chance, and this is what Glenn wants to know. He says, I wonder how many idiots Marcel has blocked me this week. I doubt Marcel did too much of that because Marcel, he's a guy, Marcel could take some criticism on the chin, man, but the thing is, there's a difference, and I was thinking about this today, like, I'm not a guy who likes to block people or mute people. I don't like doing it because, honestly, I'm okay with getting some criticism because I'm criticizing the fighters all the time, too, you know what I mean? So why not someone criticize my opinion? I think that's okay, but when you resort to insults and stuff, and you're calling someone names and resort, talking about their appearance and stuff, that's different. That's where I'm like, I don't have time for this bullshit. You know what I mean, Marcel? So I know you dealt with a lot of this week. I'm going to give you the open floor here, man. Give me your thoughts on what happened last week between you and Patty and Patty the Baddie and the fans. Just talk all about it, man. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
So I got a message after the podcast on Tuesday last time, and I told you that Pimblet was out and to keep it between us, and that Van Romine got a new opponent already. So the person who told me, I asked him like, do you know the new opponent? Yeah, I don't know if he signed yet, but I say okay, I'll go after it to confirm. But at that moment, Pimblet was out. You know what I mean? He was out. There was a new opponent. There was an official offer from the UFC, which Van Romine's camp accepted. So Van Romine also thought he was going to fight the new opponent, which he won't fight anymore. And that new opponent now has to fight his way into the UFC through the Contender Series, by the way. But so I asked the person, like, is it cool if I post that Van Romine as a new opponent and that Pimblet is out? Yeah, for sure, go ahead. So I did. People ask me, why did you ask Pimblet? For the very simple reason, Van Romine got a new offer to fight, which he accepted. UFC offered it, so it was official, offered to him, which means Pimblet is out. And it wasn't a backup. I asked him, no, it's not a backup. It's a fight. Pimblet is out. Clearly stated. Even the person who I talked to has evidence of it, So I posted it, and Pimblet went kind of crazy. Called me for whatever out. I didn't care at that moment. I understand. Maybe he doesn't even know. Maybe his manager is busy with it or whatever. And he doesn't even know. So I let it go. Then 30 minutes later, I got a call from the guy who told me, and also Cody Brundage, who is a teammate of Luigi Van Romine, tweeted under my tweet like, "This is legit. I'm training with Luigi." He told me as well. So the person called me. He's like, "Dude, you won't believe this. Apparently, Paddy's manager, which is Graham Boylan, was also the owner of Cage Warriors, as a guy for visa problems, and he could make a speed appointment for Paddy this Monday, right now, to get his visa. I don't know if he got his visa right now, but he had an appointment today. And so the UFC said to me, they put him back in. I was like, what the hell, man? I just put out that he was out. What now? He's like, yeah, we'll see. But I was happy that Jason House quote tweeted me later that, like, that it wasn't fake news, that it was legit, because Jason House manages Luigi Van Romini. So I was happy with that. But I got a lot of hate from people, and that's, listen, man. At first, I didn't blame Paddy, but later I did, because he quote tweet everything. He initiating the bullshit. You know what I mean? So at a certain moment, I think it was Thursday, I got really pissed kind of pissed about it, and then out of nowhere, like I don't know if you know Mike Morgan.
Yeah.
He tweeted an old tweet from Paddy where he was insulting and where he was had kind of a racist slur to somebody or whatever, you know. And after that, 2 hours later, Paddy was like, "Yeah," he posted a video. "Yeah, I'm done with the negativity. I'm not going to reply anything anymore. I want to have positive thoughts. Blah blah blah." I was like, "Oh, okay." And since then, I haven't heard anything anymore from him, so it's perfect. The thing is, he wanted me to delete the tweet, and I want to address this as well, people. I mean, he asked me to delete the tweet, but the tweet at that moment was legit. And if it wasn't legit, I immediately would have deleted it, and I would have said my apologies. You know what I mean? But at that moment, it was legit. I'm not. If I'm deleting the tweet, I'm pretty much saying it was bullshit what I posted. So I'm not going to do that. You know, and that's pretty much why I didn't delete the tweet. And while we are at it right now, I also want to thank you, especially you. I want to thank James Lynch as well. You both did a video on James Lynch's Patreon about this, and you guys have my back in it. I really appreciate it. You talked to me a lot about it on Monday and Tuesday, which I really appreciate. You're amazing, dude. And also some others, man. I mean, I got a lot of emails. I got a lot of Twitter DMs from people who I value. And also just in general on Twitter, people were very cool to me back about it. I didn't want to. I only retweeted the Mike Morgan tweet, by the way, but I haven't been directly talking to Paddy at all on Twitter. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Why should I, man? If he wants to talk to me, he can DM me. I can't DM me because he doesn't follow me, so I can DM him. I tried to reach out to Graham Boylan, like I think on Friday or on Thursday. I haven't heard anything back. So what you want me to do, man? And for me, it's like it's done, you know. And if he wants to say anything more, he can. But I'm not going to argue with him on an open timeline where everybody else can talk. You know what I mean? Doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, that's it pretty much. He's still in the fight, as far as I know. He should get his FISA today. I haven't heard anything about it, but I'm for damn sure not going to tweet anything about it. That's what.
Don't just stay away from that one. Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, Marcel. We talked about it in private, and we did the video with James. You don't have your back, man. I mean, listen, like I just think it was just sick how everyone would turn their back on Marcel. Not everyone. I shouldn't say everyone. But a lot of people turn their back on you. Like a guy who does so much good work for the community, they get shit on like that. Trust me, guys, there's other journalists you should be shitting on, not Marcel. You know what I mean? He's the last guy you should be doing that to. And it just proved, Marcel, that you're being taken for granted by certain people. You know what I mean? You do such a good job in the community. Go ahead.
You know what the fun thing is, man? I'm pretty sure when he's like, you do it for clout or whatever.
What do you think about that? I don't agree with that at all. Like, here's the thing: Marcel's he's not even making money off of this. He doesn't have an article that like clicks with ads. He just put it on his fucking Twitter. Like, you're not making money off of that. It's so dumb. What a dumb.
But also, for example, like, would Paddy done the same thing if Ariel did it to him?
No.
Would he done the same
he wouldn't have
Brett
did
did
that.
it to him? No. For sure not. You know, because those, for example, let's say Brett. Don't say Ariel Brett. You know, Brett is with ESPN. If he did this to Brett, you know, the UFC was on his ass for sure. You know, because ESPN has a deal with the UFC. He wouldn't have done this because he would be in trouble, you know, and that's easy for him to go after me, you know, and he knows damn well that I didn't put out a lie. He knows damn well I didn't put out a lie, you know, but he wants to. Listen, man, what's wrong with having visa issues? There's nothing wrong with that, you know. If it was something what he did, you know, what got him in trouble with that, okay, I understand you're going to deny it, but there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? So it's like you pretty much now try to clear your name to blame me or something. It's just really weird to me. It doesn't make sense. And yeah, man, it's just stupid, man. I mean, I didn't do anything to the dude, you know. I put out a statement because people keep annoying me about it, you know, so I just said my side of the story. And you know, Twitter has only like 144 or 280 characters you can use, so that's why I did a quick note on it. But what you want me else to do, man? I'm not going to delete the tweet. It was accurate at that time. And now it's not accurate anymore. I said it wasn't accurate anymore in that statement. So what else would you want me to do? And there are a lot of people. You saw Guillermo Cruz from MMA Fighting, who also said the same thing, that he was out at a certain moment. So I didn't make this thing up at all. And the petty fans can believe what they want. I know some petty fans who are behind them. That's okay. But are also cool to me. So that's cool. But people who talk shit, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. You guys act like I don't want to see Paddy in the UFC. I don't mind. I mean, I don't have anything against the dude. Never had. So now it's maybe different. I don't like the dude, obviously. But I mean, I don't wish him a bad life, just a bad fight. No, that's just kidding. No, I don't wish him a bad life. But it's like, this doesn't make sense to me. What if I put that out and he would have said, like, listen, dude, this was true for a brief moment, but I'm back in. There were some issues, but I'm fighting.
Mm-hmm.
That would have totally diffused the situation, and he just put fuel to the fire the whole damn time, man, and just stupid,
Yeah, no, I agree. And the thing for me is, like, I didn't like how he called you, like, fat and stuff. Like, I mean, listen, Marcel.
Listen.
Why are you thinking it's not the guy's appearance? What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
I mean, he's not wrong, But I mean, it doesn't.
Dude, I'm a big guy too, man. I'm a big guy too. The thing is, like, I you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say I'm like, the most ripped guy. And same with you, Marcel. But that has nothing to do with your reporting. You know what I mean? Like, it has nothing to do with your reporting at all.
I love that he called me a bad journalist, because I think I'm a reporter more than over a journalist. But yeah, okay, that's my opinion. But hey, you can call me whatever you want, man. But he made it very personal for some reason, which
I know. I didn't like that either. So give me your last words on this before we get out.
I think you shouldn't make fun of somebody's appearance if you have hair like that. But that's just my opinion. But I don't hate to do it at all, but hey, it's whatever.
It is what it is. Let me just get the comments here, guys. Jamie says the UFC blunder more than anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. They said they put that out to the other party. They clearly said he was off. And behind the scenes, they're still working to get Paddy back in. How does that look, man? Because Van Ramini thought he was preparing for another guy than Pimblet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree.
It doesn't make sense. It's exactly what he says. I'm fully agree.
Pimblet's followed by a lot of Koreans, really made fans of Marcel's back. I'd say a lot of them do, but there's even fans of Marcel that were like talking shit to him and then saying, "Oh, I'm just joking, Marcel." Like the next day, you know what I mean, Marcel? Like,
I didn't reply.
Really, you were joking after you talked smack to him. Gosselin signed McKee up to fight Chimaev a few weeks' notice in his first 4 fight. Didn't consulted. Paddy likely knew nothing. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't have an issue with Graham. I mean, he does a good job at Cage Warriors, but
he does.
There's got to be a conflict of interest though here when he's the manager and also matchmaker, right? Like that's like Ali back in WSOF. Here, the last thing, I think that's it. Anything else you want to say about this before we can move on? Last word, or that's it? We got 2 minutes left. So that's it, eh? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say.
Everybody who had my back, and I appreciate it. I didn't reach out to everybody, but to most people I did who DM me or whatever. So thank you for that. I didn't reply under any comment on Twitter at all, because if I'm gonna reply under that comment, some other guy's gonna reply under it again, and then it's over. I want just. It also sucked, man. At a certain moment, it was over, and then people gonna quote me like, "I stand with Marcel." It's like, it's very nice of you, but it was now a little bit shush, and now you bringing it back up. It's okay.
It's all good. All right, last comment for Marcus, my boy, Marcus Williams. He was at the event on the weekend.
Yeah,
he said, "Great show." Man. Yeah, if anyone's ever attended the UFC event at the Apex, I highly recommend it. Shout out to Kanyer and Parker for making some money. This dude won some good coin.
Yeah,
and Marcus is not a liar either. He shows me the tickets. He's not a liar. You know what I mean? So congrats, Marcus. Good job, man. Marcus, I'll plug yourself. Let's get out of here.
Big Marcel24 on Twitter and Instagram for your legit MMA news, and MMADNA.nl also for your legit MMA news, also on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
There you go. All right, Twitter at Adam Martin Podcast, MMAOddsmaker.com, so our YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all those places, guys. We're also at my BJPen.com, my MMAnews.com, but tons of news out. I'm gonna have some stuff. I know you don't like this, but the Jake Paul fight, I'm gonna have some articles over Expectation Sports this week breaking it down. And Lead Fantasy Elite Sports Betting, I'll have my bets and picks for DFS later this week. But tomorrow we have the Jake Paul. Quiet. tomorrow we're going to talk about Giga Chikadze versus Edson Barboza in that whole card. So 4 p.m. tomorrow, guys, for the next podcast. Have a great day, everyone.